Hello, Iris. We are back again for another video. Some people like their chronicles spoken to them, and some like their chronicles actually written. So these are for all our visual learners. We already talked about our auditory learners. This is taken from Proverbs 31, the Matthew Henry commentary version. And it says, this is the description, 31:10 through 31. This is the description of a virtuous, we could put woman or spouse. The dusty shame finally has an ending, not to be dusty. And this is a spouse that is not dusty. This is what we should look for, irises. Here on Interracial Spiritual Experiences, we are trying to have new and better prospects in our community. So, anyone that wants to be virtuous, this is what it looks like, whether in the old days or these days. Proverbs 31:10 through 31. This is the description of a virtuous woman of those days, but the general outline eventually suits every age and every nation. She is very careful to recommend herself to her husband's esteem and affection, to know his mind, and is willing he rule over her. Now, in the rest of this, you can insert the male spouse. He or she can be trusted. He will leave it, or she will leave it to his or her wife to manage. He is happy in her, and she makes it her constant business to do him good. We're not talking about being a Bob the Builder. We're talking about someone that is an asset for all her assets, body and mind. And a virtuous spouse is appreciated for these assets. She is one that takes pain in her duties and takes pleasure in them. She is careful to fill up her time that none be lost. She rises early, and she applies herself to the business proper for her, to women's business. She's not a busybody, is always in somebody else's business unraveling things. I inserted that. But going back to the passage, she does what she does with all her power and trifles not. She makes what she does turn to a good account by prudent management. Many undo themselves by buying without considering whether they can afford it. She provides well for her house. She lays up for her hereafter. She looks well to the ways of her household, that she may oblige all to do their duty to their Almighty or higher power, and to one another, as well as to her. She is intent upon giving as upon getting. Let me read that again. She is intent upon giving as upon getting, and does it freely and cheerfully. She is discreet and obliging. Every word she says, she governs herself by rules of wisdom. She not only takes prudent measures herself, but gives prudent advice to others. The law of love and kindness is written in the heart and shows itself in the tongue. Her heart is full of another world, even when her hands are busy about the world. Above all, she fears the Lord. Beauty recommends none to the Almighty, nor is it any proof of wisdom or goodness. Beauty is not the proof of wisdom and goodness. For most people, they don't understand that. But for those that are hearers and not just doers and hearers, they will understand what I'm talking about here. But beauty recommends none to the Almighty, nor is it any proof of wisdom and goodness. Let me close in on that a little bit. It lasts forever. See, what we're talking about but it has deceived many, this beauty thing. It has deceived many a man who made his choice of a wife by it. But the fear of the Lord The fear of your Almighty reigneth in the heart, is the beauty of the soul. It lasts forever. She has firmness to bear up upon crosses, under crosses. Let me read that again. She has firmness to bear up under crosses and disappointments. She doesn't go into a spiral of depression no one can pull her out of. She shall reflect with comfort when she comes to be old, that she was not idle or useless when young. She shall rejoice in a world to come. She's a great blessing to her relations. If the fruit be good, the tree must have our good word. But she leaves it to her own works to praise her. Everyone ought to desire this honor that cometh from on high. And according to the standard, we ought to regulate our judgments. This description let all women daily study, and other spouses as well. He said, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are of good report, think on these things. Who desires to be truly beloved and respected, useful and honorable? This passage is to be applied to individuals, but may it also be applied to a body of believers like irises, which is a description of virtuous spouses. The Almighty by grace has formed among sinful men of true believers to possess all the excellencies here described. All right, irises, these are proverbs and words from on high. Proverbs 31. People love to keep quoting it, but have they really did an in-depth study? One day, soon, irises, we're going to do a series on what this virtuality means, because apparently the examples we see in society are just is a dusty shame. All right, end of Chronicles for the night. All right, interracial spiritual experiences. Let us show everyone how it's done. Signing out.